but let's focus on this Oscars. Let's focus on this Oscars. I'm going to go through some of the actually our overall thoughts. Jess, we haven't heard much from you. Do you have any special takeaways or anything before we get into all this?
I was pretty shocked by how many awards Everything Everywhere All at Once won. Not saying it didn't deserve it. It was a good film. I wasn't like blown away by the movie, but it was a good film. But yeah, that was probably the big shock for me. It just like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Everything Everywhere. Like, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like, look,
just did a clean sweep. And it was a pretty tough year because there's some good films that came out. So yeah.
Look, some people believe that the Oscars is not about who has the best performance, rather who has the best for your consideration campaign. And I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's probably my favorite film from last year. But when I look at some awards like Jamie Lee Curtis has been in the industry for over 30 years. You mean to tell me her most prestigious performance is her with hot dog fingers?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I'm like, I think Jamie Lee Curtis has done some better performances in past films.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like there's a lot of competition this year, and sometimes about the story, like obviously everybody's rooting for Ki Hye Kwan.
It was a very wholesome win. I think it's like the year of wholesome wins.
So I no hate to Ki Hye Kwan, but his story is so inspiring and motivational. I think everybody just wants him to win. And I feel the same about Brendan Fraser. Like obviously both of them have amazing performances, but I think like everybody's rooting for them, not so much because the film is amazing, or sorry, their performance is amazing, but also because the story behind it. It reminds me of
I think it's both. They were both so good, and then you do want them to win because their stories are so underdog.
Like I agree. Like remember when Leonardo DiCaprio won the Oscar, and I can't remember for Revenant, but the year before he had another big film. I can't remember what it was at the top of my head. But I remember.
Oh, was it Wolf of Wall Street the year before?
It might have been Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, okay. People were saying, "Oh, what? He hasn't won it." And then when it came to Revenant came around, like people were like, "Well, he's going to win it because he didn't win it last year." So the Academy feels like they owe it to him, which I don't know if that's how people actually vote and how it feels. But like I can kind of see that. And I don't know, Leo did eat raw meat for the role, so obviously give him an Oscar. All right. So let's just start running through these. Best animated feature. I think that was kind of a no-brainer for a lot of people. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
It was obvious.
Best supporting actor, Ki Hye Kwan, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Kind of what everybody was going for. But I'm kind of curious from you guys. I know Banshees of Inisherin had 2 noms there. There's a few other like competing categories. Is that your pick? Was that your pick?
Wait, is this for Best Picture?
Best supporting actor, sorry.
Best no, Key was mine. He was always mine.
All right, so, awesome. Yeah. Because I know you guys were singing the praise of Banshees the other week. Best supporting actress, as I mentioned earlier, Jamie Lee Curtis won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think she was fine, but I don't think it's her best performance at all. I was low key, like I would, if I had to give it to an actor from Everything Everywhere All at Once, I would have rather go to Stephanie Sue. Is it Sue? Sue?
Shu?
Was that the daughter?
Is it like?
Yeah, the daughter, the bad guy. I probably would have went to Stephanie, or I was low key rooting for Angela Bassett for Black Panther. I didn't expect her to win it, but that's who I was rooting for. Okay. Oh, you're gonna say something? No?
I was gonna say I was happy, honestly, for any of them to win in that category. I thought they all did really well. In there, they held their ground really, really well individually. My pick, like if I could have picked anyone though, I would have picked Hong Chau from The Whale. She was really good. She's a co-lead in that, and it's very heavy stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting with the supporting actor and actress categories because sometimes you'll get situations where you could argue they're the lead, but the studio chooses which category to place them in strategically, so to help with their chance of winning. I think there was a big case with, what was that movie about? There's women working at NASA. And
numbers.
No, I know which one it's talking about.
I think Viola Davis. No,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
Viola.
yeah.
Was it Viola?
Yeah,
No.
it was Viola Davis. I can't remember.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna
It
really
was like
bug me. I
Hidden
need to know
Figures or something. Or
Hidden
was it-
Figures.
Or was it
That's the
Hidden,
one.
Yeah, Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures. Yeah, I remember that film. I think they had an actress in supporting actress, and everyone was saying, well, technically she's a lead. But that's how the system works.
They sometimes do that though.
Yeah,
they do it on purpose.
Best cinematography to All Quiet on the Western Front. What is that? What your vote was for 80? I know you're a big fan of that film.
That of everything this year, to me, that was flawless. I still had Everything Everywhere, because I vote logically of what I think's gonna win. But my heart wanted All Quiet to win. It still took home heaps though.
I feel like war movies always have amazing cinematography. Like you think of 1917, Saving Private Ryan, Hacksaw Ridge. They've always got amazing cinematography of just like these wide sweeping landscapes and such. And yeah,
a war movie is like a cinematographer's dream, I feel. But yeah, I think on to your point, 80, All Quiet on the Western Front was kind of like the the quiet achiever this year, because you could argue it didn't do a major sweep, but it won. Feels like every award, if it didn't go to Everything Everywhere All at Once, it went to All Quiet on the Western Front. That movie, I did not expect it to clean up as much as it did, and good for it. Like, I really need to watch it.
Yeah, I love when that happens. I find the Oscars are they're always a bit of a wild card, because you can go off of the Globes and the SAGs and BAFTA and all that stuff, but then random people will take out the biggest award of the season that you don't expect. But I was really happy it did. And I'm happy it at least took Best International Feature. There was no way it was not going to win that. Like, no way.
100%. It did feel like a Parasite sort of situation where it's like, if it doesn't win Best Picture, it's winning Best International for sure. Because not much competition there. Best Makeup and Hair obviously went to The Whale. I don't think anyone would dispute that. Best Costume Design, Black Panther. I thought they had that in the bag. I know it actually was pretty competitive this year, because I know Babylon had a lot of costuming, and Elvis as well.
Did Babylon win anything? I don't think Babylon won anything.
Babylon didn't win anything. And
I kind of felt like that movie it had a lot of hype, and then it just petered out. It just went past.
Yeah.
It did. Babylon was, I think, a little bit of a flop critically. I think everyone expected it to do a lot better. And it was definitely a flop financially as well. So unfortunately, that film is just it was losing on all counts, unfortunately. Sorry, Margot. We still love you. Best Costume Design. I always thought Black Panther was going to go to Black Panther. That's like the one thing that franchise always has going for it. The costumes and sets are just, it's so inspired and so unique. Maybe we'll go next to Best Production Design, All Quiet on the Western Front. Again, a war movie, not surprising. Best Original Score, also All Quiet on the Western Front. Best Visual Effects went to Avatar: The Way of Water. And if it did not win this category,
I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. As soon as I was like, oh, of course they're going to give it to Avatar. Like, fine, let's do it.
It's the only award that movie could win. Let's be honest.
I did read a really interesting article. I can't remember who posted it.
I was surprised it was nominated for Best Picture.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
I was reading this article.
All of us were like, no.
was reading this article was arguing why Avatar should be considered a strong contender for Best Picture. And like it raised some interesting points. It's like, well, like, you know, they innovated on so many things and they did all this and da. And it's like, and I'm looking at it like, yeah, but no one gives a fuck about it. Like that's
No
the thing. I feel like Avatar, yes, it always is breaking these financial records, but I think the reason it breaks so many financial records is because we're always told it's going to win all these financial records. Like we're more seeing it out of curiosity rather than oh my god, this movie is I can't wait to watch it again. Yeah, like I don't see anyone like I know as a franchise, it's like the least interesting franchise. I've never seen someone wear a Avatar t-shirt or play with an Avatar action figure or whatever, you know. But yeah, so yeah. If it didn't win that category, it'd be very sad. And yeah, that would be pretty upsetting. Best original screenplay, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm definitely in support of that. Would you guys say the same thing?
I was in support of it.
Yeah, it was a good screenplay. Yeah.
Best adapted screenplay, Women Talking. I loved how the screenwriter came up and she's like, oh, thank you to the Academy for not being offended by the words women and talking.
That was so good. And I really respected how it was a sole Oscar for her. Like she was the credited person, you know, like that's really badass.
That's not common. So double like kudos to her. I've got a question for you guys. I've tried to Google this and I can't figure it out. But why, maybe I need to do some more Googling, but like, why is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, considered an adapted screenplay? They say it's based on the characters by Rian Johnson, but what?
I believe it was either, I'm not sure if it was a novel or an article, but it was technically a story, like it's an adapted story from an already published body of work.
Okay.
Don't ask me, I have no idea.
But then, but then take that logic and let me ask you this. Why is another nomination, Top Gun Maverick, an adapted screenplay? Because isn't that just the sequel to a movie that already existed?
Yes.
So, like...
Ask the Academy, Matt. Send them a telegram.
I've got a few questions for the Academy.
I've got a few.
You know what? Fuck it. I want to Google this again because I don't like Top Gun. Top Gun and Glass Onion. Why adapted screenplay?
Why adapted? One of them's an article. Like I just remember reading that because I was also like, what?
All right, here we go. Slash film, Glass Onion and Top Gun. So that's my. I should have written Top Gun. Mark. This is probably great podcasting here. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing for this one. Both films are clearly connected to the original, but films venture into new directions, storylines, and characters. They are not retelling pre-existing tales, yet both films are nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. I agree. That's why I'm asking the question.
Is it because they're sequels or they branched off an original piece of work, or would have something to do with that?
Yeah, it looks like sequels are considered adaptations because movies like Before Sunset, Before Midnight, Toy Story 3, and Borat's subsequent movie film have all been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay under the same guidelines.
Yeah, so that would be why it is.
Because they're not retelling pre-existing tales. Right? But that's so dumb.
But they're using established, characters and story and such. So...
This is so... Oh my God. I could go on forever reading this. The Academy doesn't demand totally originality from Best Script. You know what? I'm going to leave it there. But guys, if someone has a better answer for me, please let me know because this is blowing my mind. Let's close out on the Oscar talk with a few other categories. Best sound with Top Gun Maverick. I totally agree with that. I'm sure Tom Cruise is kicking himself going, how come that's the only award we got? But whatever. RR won Best Original Song. Good for them. Best Editing, it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Fun fact about that. The editors for Everything Everywhere All at Once learnt how to edit through YouTube tutorials and were not trained traditionally. Which just goes to show again, like how the exciting thing about Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's the perfect like millennial filmmaker story. You know, they used a lot of DIY elements. They did, you know, they had people who learned from YouTube. I believe their score, the guy did the score. I think it was his second feature ever. It's
Whoa.
really, I believe so. I think that's what I read somewhere. I could be wrong, but yeah. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty inspiring as a millennial filmmaker as well. Best director obviously went to the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Just every time I see Steven Spielberg not win, it just still surprises me. He's nominated every year, but I can't remember last time he won. Yeah. Best actor, Brendan Fraser for The Whale. I mean,
and very wholesome win. Very same speak about it.
He was so shocked. Like you could see he was breathless, and it was so sweet. I would have been happy if either him or Austin got it. I love both of them equally this year with what they did, but he was so cute. You know, and when I was watching it, like when people would win that got me really emotional. At the end, you know, when you forget where you are and you're so in the zone, like I would go to clap, like I was in the audience.
No,
this was so cute.
I clapped a few times. I was like watching it on my phone on the terrible 7+ app, which is way too many ads. And as I'm watching it while I'm sort of like doing some work at the same time, I would just stop and I would clap every now and then. I'm like, hang on, what am I doing? I'm a weirdo. Fire up. That's us. We love our films. And then Best Actress with Michelle Yeoh for Everything, well deserved. I think that was really good. And then finally, Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Well deserved. What excites me about this is it's a genre film. And every time we see genre films get respect in categories outside of, you know, special effects, it's very rare. Like when I look at movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once and Shape of Water and Get Out, and it just makes me really excited.
It's not your Oscar bait.
Yeah, I love, and I feel like and what I want to know is what I'm hoping for. What I'm hoping for is that this will continue this path of convincing the Academy that what's traditionally considered an Academy film doesn't have to be. Like action films can be Oscar worthy, horror films, sci-fi films. The fact that in the last few years we're getting more and more of that is just so incredibly awesome. And because otherwise it's just a bunch of serious movies of people crying all the time. And I'm getting a little bit over that. But that's just me.
Hey, I still like those movies.
Hey, I like them too, but it's like, I just don't like the fact that some of these other films require just as much, sometimes even more effort, and they don't get the same recognition. Like this debate comes up every year. It's like, how come there are no stuntman categories? How come there are no, like, you know, for action films, they keep cinema alive a lot of the time with these big blockbuster stuff, and they're risking their lives and sometimes dying. And there's no major recognition for those roles, for example. You know, and then, you know, obviously it's good that we represent and show others, but yeah, because apparently with stuntmen, like there's not even really an off-screen one. You know how the Oscars have a lot of sort of off-screen awards and like little mini awards things. But anyways, pretty good year for the Oscars. Congrats to like the 2 films that won all the awards.
That sweep the whole thing.
Yeah, but it was a good year. It was a good year. And yeah, any closing thoughts on this subject before we move on?
It was a great year. There's the whole thing was so wholesome. I'm really happy with everyone that won. I think everyone rightfully deserved their awards this year. That doesn't often happen, I think, but I was really satisfied with this Oscars.
Yeah, I'm not hearing a lot of talk of major snubs. So that's pretty cool.